Good evening, guys, and welcome to my third today. And I tell you what, I've been looking forward to this all day today, actually, because it's usually some sort of exercise in it. Anyway, I've got Emily with me, and before I came on here on live, my wife was saying, "In a minute, you'll be okay. You'll be in the moment and everything." Because
Awesome.
my wife is gets fed up with me going, right, let me alone. I want to be in the moment because that's what I've learned. Anyway, I've been
That's
really looking
great.
forward to this all day. Thank you very much, folks. So, Emily, what have you got us to do today?
Yeah, I'm really excited for today because it is the final layer. It's layer 7 in the 7 layers of my Be the Moment process. And what's so cool about the 7th layer, and I'm going to go through a little bit about each layer to come up to the 7th layer. The cool thing about the 7th layer is it's a magical layer that happens when you do the other layers. And I just thought it was too much fun to not have it be its own layer. And I really wanted to draw attention to it and have conversations about it because it was really profound. So, number 7 layer is be eternal. And I'm going to explain a little bit more about that in a minute. But if you're not familiar, my Be the Moment process is 7 layers of mindfulness. And mindfulness to me is present moment awareness. And I accidentally I found the present moment accidentally about 5 years ago when I was in the midst of a physical, emotional, and mental breakdown. I mean, mental to the point where I was taking psychological tests and I couldn't remember a sequence of 5 numbers. So the person that was testing me would give me 5 numbers, and I wouldn't be able to tell them back to her. And my body just shut down in a lot of different ways, and you can imagine that just emotionally that was quite exhausting and upsetting and all those things. So I had experience with meditation and a little bit with mindfulness. I actually taught yoga and did little meditation practices at the end of my yoga classes, and then I also worked with in women's retreats and helped. So I did have a component or an aspect of meditation and mindfulness in my life. But what I really didn't understand, and I didn't know until I actually had my breakdown, was that I was functioning with such a high level of stress all the time that it was normal for me. And I didn't know that I had that high level of stress. I don't know if any of you can relate to that. But it was pretty much, now I can see it looking back, but it was pretty much from when I woke up in the morning to when I went to bed at night. Just this high level of stress. I was very reactionary. I would do things because I had to. I would do things because I was on a deadline. I would do things because people were relying on me. It's very tremendous amount of pressure on myself, and it was just normal for me. So I didn't know until I had my breakdown and I was in a space that was different, just how much stress I had been putting on myself. And actually, what ended up happening was my body just said, "I can't do this anymore," and it shut down. So I was aware of mindfulness, certain mindfulness practices, and I was aware of meditation and things like that. But it wasn't until I had this time of just really not being able to get out of bed and just sitting that I was like, "Oh, okay, I get it now. I get it." My mind was just so crazy busy all the time. So I don't know if a lot of you are relating to this, but I felt like I really felt like I don't know how long I can keep this up. Like I don't know, like what's someone's got to give, and basically my whole body gave, and my mind and everything. So I found myself in this space, and now this was 5 years ago, and now I look back and I'm actually really thankful that that happened to me. Just for the fact that I really got to explore present moment and really understand what it is and understand the value of it, and understand how being in such a state of anxiety all the time moved me out of present moment, or basically disconnected me from the power of the present moment into this other space of being reactionary and not feeling like I was in control, and being worried about things that may or may not happen. Like playing scenarios over and over in my head of things that may happen in the future. And so say I was going to have a meeting with someone, and like at work, a work meeting, and I was a little bit stressed about it. So like playing that over and over in my head about 500 times before it actually happened. And so interesting thing that I've learned is that your body doesn't actually know that it's not happening. So your body doesn't know that you're not actually in that stressful meeting right now, because your thoughts and everything cause your body to react as if you're actually in that stressful meeting right now. It doesn't know any different, because if you're thinking it, your body's like, oh, okay, this is happening right now. And that was a really profound thing for me to realize, that not only was I going to be stressed out maybe in the actual meeting, but leading up to the meeting, I was actually living through the meeting maybe 500 times before it was actually happening. And my body was needing to support me with the chemicals it was producing, which a lot of times is adrenaline and cortisol, which are the fight or flight chemicals and hormones and things like that. And so that really kind of blew my mind, because I realized that I was basically multiplying the stress of that particular meeting that was happening in the future by like at least 500 times, because I was living through it so much. So when I was sitting and not able to do anything, I connected first to my breath. So that's layer number one, is breath. Just taking long, deep breaths and like focusing on the breath. It's called conscious breathing. So it can literally just be like, okay, I'm inhaling right now, I'm exhaling right now, and that is in itself a huge thing that is super, super helpful. And it literally calms down your fight or flight, and it calms down your body, and it reduces stress almost instantaneously. And I started to do that naturally, and I started to feel relief from my really intense thoughts of anxiety. And then from there, I started to feel like I wanted to get grounded to the space around me, because a lot of times I was sitting outside. So I would sit outside and say like, okay, I'm like sitting on the grass. And so that's layer number two, is be the body. Like, where is your body in space and what is it touching? That's called grounding. And then the third, what is the third? Oh yeah, I'm doing this from memory. Be nature, or be in nature. So for many of you, you'll probably agree with me that just getting outside, you feel better, like very quickly, like almost instantaneously. And then for me, I'm really attracted to water. So if there's a stream, if there's a lake, if there's a river, whatever, I want to be near that. And then even like cats, dogs, anything in nature, plants, all those things are amazing ways that you can connect to present moment. And what I do want to say that's really important about these different layers is that, it's easy to say, oh, be present or be in the moment. And that can be kind of overwhelming in itself. And so what I really like about the be the moment process, and one of the reasons I did it this way, is to make it so that with each layer, you're really only focusing on one thing. And it can help you hone those skills. And there may be certain layers that you really, really like, that are really, really natural for you and effective for you. And then other layers where you're like, man, I don't really connect with that one. Like for me, be the breath is a big one. And then the fourth layer is be the observer. So that's where we realize that we don't have to accept every single thought that we think, that we can actually move back and look at it and then make decisions about it. It empowers us. And so for me, having OCD and perfectionism and anxiety, I was accepting all my thoughts, and by default, I just unconsciously was. I didn't know that I had a choice. And so practicing that observing position, and that also goes with thoughts and emotions are in layer number 4, be the observer. So we also want to allow our emotions and let our emotions express themselves and observe our emotions. So we can do that. And then number 5 is be movement. So for me, my body shut down too. And for those of you that don't know, my background is actually dance and group fitness or fitness classes. And so in the process of my whole breakdown, my back, I had tremendous amount of back pain, so I couldn't do the things that I had been doing. I couldn't really move much, honestly. And then my hips seized up, so I couldn't really move my hips either. And so I really wasn't moving. And so in this space of these different layers, I started to slowly breathe and do these other things. And then I started to feel like I wanted to move. And these were really, really gentle movements at first. It was really just like shoulder rolls when I was breathing, or head rolls, or gently stretching, really small movements at first, or reaching my arms like over my head when I was breathing, just like different things like that, and rolling, and all those different kinds of things, like very like nourishing, nurturing movements, thinking about my joints and just keeping my joints loose. Because I wasn't moving much, I was getting very stiff. And when you get stiff, then you start to have pain. And so it's like breathing into the pain and just gently moving. So that's number 5. And then number 6 is be playful or be a child. And so that's what we talked about last week, just recalling just in childhood when we'd be doing something and we would get caught up so much in the moment that we didn't know time was passing, and we didn't take ourselves too seriously. So how we can do that now as adults is sometimes I will recall different things that I did as a child that really made me happy and recall those memories. And you can also think of being playful or being creative now. So if you love to sing or dance or write or draw, or do pottery, or all the different ways that we can create, that also is a place where if you know, like if you're in that space, you really get caught up in the moment, and then you don't even know the time has passed. And so that leads me, I'm going to take a drink of water just a second.
Right.
So that leads me to the 7th step, which is be eternal. And it really goes into what I just said in step number 6, which is that, oh, I can hear myself. There's feedback. I don't know if we can.
Okay, carry on.
No, it's fine. I couldn't like hear myself and talk at the same time. It was too much. That when you're a child, you don't notice time passing. If you are caught up in a creative activity, you don't know the time is passing. When you're doing like for me, when I would be dancing, I would like lose track of time. And so this really interesting phenomena started to happen for me, and I started to notice it, that I would lose track of time in a strange way. And so it was, and I really thought a lot about this and tried to figure out how to explain it because it doesn't fit into our really like our 3D world. Because really what it feels like to me is that I'm slipping out of time into this other space. And what I realized is that present moment is really just well, eternity, let's say it this way, eternity is really just a bunch of present moments that are strung together one after another, just on and on and on and on, all the way into eternity. And so I realized if I was truly in present moment, I actually do lose track of time, and I do feel this sense of timelessness. And so what I realized was that if I was connected to present moment, I really am in this space of eternal. Now that doesn't mean that I'm immortal and I'm going to live forever in this body, but I really felt the sensation of being moved out of time into this other space. And it's really quite magical. So I don't know if everyone can just take a moment and think about a time when like you were like really joyful, or you got caught up in the moment, just like a particular memory where you just there was just you were with someone, and you're having this afternoon like this the best day ever, or just all these different things. And for me, there was like just tiny little moments that I knew, where I just kind of got caught up into this other space of existence. And so that's what I talk about, like this magical piece of being in the moment, or be the moment. So the whole idea of be the moment is that we're embodying the moment. We're not just like, oh, I'm going to be present, but no, we are going to be the moment. We're going to be like breathing and observing and gathering information and being like really curious and being alive and taking in information and empowering ourselves and making like really cool decisions. And the other piece I want to share about be eternal, which I found was happening, and I wanted to just explain it, was what I was finding was when I would come out of meditation, very often I would have these ideas, like these inspirations. I was inspired to do this or that, and I would do that thing. And when I did the thing, when I was feeling very inspired to do it, rather than, that feeling of like, oh, I have to do this right now. Ugh. That feeling of like, oh gosh, I have to do this because, I got the deadline. But no, it's more like, oh, I want to do this right now because like I have to do this right now. I'm super excited. I have all these ideas. I have this thing I want to do. What I realized when I was in that inspired space and I was doing that thing, whatever it was, and it was very often some sort of like errand or activity or job related or things like that, that I would do it, and it would be super easy. It wouldn't be hard, and I would probably lose track of time because I was caught up in the process of whatever I was doing. And when it was over, when it was done, and when it was completed, I very often would sit back and think, how in the world did I get so much done in such a short amount of time? I would feel like that I was getting 10 times more done than I really thought was humanly possible. And it started to happen so much. And this was even, just like with chores around the house, even. Um, it could be like a really mundane task, or it could be like something super creative. I was noticing this pattern, and it was happening over months. And so much so that I actually asked like my astrologer friend, so she was also coaching me as a life coach at the time, and I said, there's this thing that's happening to me, and I don't really understand what's happening, and it's continuing to happen, where I feel like it's not humanly possible to get done what I'm getting done in this amount of time. And the reason that was so important for me, and it was so important for me, was that I had a belief that I could never get everything done. It was just I had too much on my to-do list, too many demands on me. I was not going to get everything done ever. Like no matter how much work I did. And so I don't know if anybody relates to that, but that was a huge driver in my life. And and it really had to do with time. I don't have enough time to get this stuff done. And so when I started to experience this strange like shift in time, perception. When I started to see, oh my gosh, I got what I would consider 2 hours of work done just now in about 20 minutes, and it was easy and it was fun. And then I just was like, how is this possible? What I really, and my friend said, well, she said, she doesn't know, don't know too much about this, but I do know there's something called Chronos time, and there's something called Kairos time, and it was based in like ancient Greek mythology or something.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I didn't either. And so Chronos time is like chronological time. So chronological time is like our watches, and linear time moving forward, and just how we think of time, right? So you have your watch, and like right now it's 4 something, and then for you it's 9 something, and then in a half an hour it's going to be 10 something. And so that was what I always knew time to be. And then there was this other kind of time, this Kairos time, this time that is outside of time, that is timeless, that is not governed by actual linear time. So what I and there's and I as I've studied it, there's so many schools of thought on this, that it's like the quantum field that's like beyond our dimensions, and like all these different things. I don't even know, because I'm not a scientist. All I know is that this thing was happening to me, and I really thought that it had something to do with being connected to present moment, and then allowing messages and information to come to me, what I call like inspirations, connecting to my intuition. What would also happen to me when I came out of meditation, which would be my present moment time, would be if I had like a kind of a problem or a difficulty, that very often a solution would come to me. But not because I was thinking about the problem, but because I was being still and I was breathing, and it was almost like any barriers or blockages that I would have to a solution got removed, and then these inspirations or solutions were coming to me. And so all that to say that as I was practicing these different layers and being really, really deliberate about what I was doing, so I was like, I'm going to be in present moment right now. I'm going to just focus on my breath and see. And if any thoughts come up, I'm going to let them come up. If any emotions come up, I'm going to let them come up. And I'm going to just be the observer. I'm just going to be gathering information and seeing what happens. And what I started to see was that space allowed me to connect to my intuition. And who knows? I mean, we could talk probably for a million years about what actually intuition is and where it comes from and all that stuff. I mean, that's fascinating in itself. But just moving into this really powerful space for me, where I was set free from the bondage of time, for me was a huge thing, where I realized that I could get a lot done if I really wanted to, and it was actually going to be fun, and I was going to be in an inspired space. So that was really the key for me, was doing things when I felt really inspired actually made me way more creative, way more productive. Because what I had honestly thought, and Steve, I don't know if you've thought this, and I know other people have said this to me all the time, is that they wish that they had more time to meditate.
Oh yeah,
And
I wish.
yeah. And
If I ever get busy, I do it on the toilet.
whatever, I don't care where you do it, like but and I totally get that, and that's exactly where I was. I mean, I really was. My counselor was trying to get me to just take some time for myself, and it took me a year, and I still didn't do it because I didn't think I had enough time. So I totally understand that objection, or just that frustration with people saying, well, I would do meditation, but I don't have enough time. Well, here's the crazy thing that I found, was that as I meditated, the more time I had. It was the craziest thing. Like, and I can't fully explain it, but what I found was that, just like what I said before, is I found solutions to things so that I did. And sometimes I even realized, oh, I really don't even need to do that. Like I would really have so much clarity on my priorities and like where I was spending my time. So then I'd be like, I actually really don't want to do that. Or I don't need to do that. Or I have a great idea about that. And so as I was spending time meditating, worried that I didn't have enough time to get everything done, the more time I spent meditating, the more time I found, and the more time I had, and the more productive I was, and the more inspired I was, and the more I enjoyed what I was doing. And it all comes back to that I was insistent that I had to have these little moments. And I played around with too, like how much time is enough time. And sometimes it's just what I call micro moments, where I'm just like, okay, I'm feeling a little stressed, I'm going to take a deep breath. And sometimes it would be 15 minutes, sometimes it'd be 20 minutes. I followed someone for a while that he meditates for 2 hours a day, and so I did that for a while. And everywhere in between, to just see like, what is this all about, and how does meditating for 2 hours, like what is that, like what does that look like for me, and how does that feel, and what comes out of it. Uh and I truly believe, this is just me personally, that, and I don't do it on a regular basis. I don't meditate for 2 hours a day, but when I did it for kind of an extended period of time. I was way more productive. And I'm going to tell you just a fun little fact, that Steve Jobs, when he was alive, he was interviewed, and he meditated for an hour and a half in the morning and an hour and a half in the afternoon. So he meditated for 3 hours a day. And that's Steve Jobs. And so one of the most productive, innovative humans, that we've had so far on this planet. And that's 3 hours a day. And he's not the only one. I do know that there's some pretty amazing humans that are contributing a lot to what's happening here on the planet, that do have a pretty substantial meditation practice. And I just thought that was so interesting. And just in the sense that that is what I experienced, that the more I meditated, the more I got done, and the more ideas I had, and the more productive I was. And you wouldn't really think that would be the case, right? You think you're kind of like, if you're meditating for an hour a day, you're losing an hour a day. Like you could be doing other things. But that's why this layer is so important to me, and I'm so passionate about it. This whole layer of be eternal, because as I practiced all the other layers, this is what I started to notice happening. And for me, it moves into more of like a magical, mystical realm, because as humans, how do we explain that? You're not in linear time anymore. And how do you measure that and everything? So that is all the layers. That is all the layers. And at my Be the Moment process. And I'm actually offering a special for all of you right now. If you want, I don't know if we can share the link, but you can go to my website. I think it says it there. Yeah, that's my email. You can always email me too, but you can go to my website, go to my Be the Moment process, and type in special moment. And you'll be able to get the Be the Moment process for a discount. So it's just going to be $11. I don't know what that is in pounds, but $11 for the next couple of days.
That is £6.
Okay. Yep.
So guys, before we ask Emily some questions, £6. Wow, that is £6. So what she's doing is she's giving you all those layers. It's like a birthday cake and a Christmas cake, and it's got all the layers.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I've been here, right? And I've been sitting down, and I'm thinking, I'm lying down. Well, not lying down, but I'm just
You're reclining.
I'm on the sofa here, and just enjoy listening to it because all the layers what she told you about and everything else like that. It's really good. It helps you. It's definitely helped me. I've been loving this, and so for £6, guys,
Yeah, it's what it, and
it's
let me tell you what it is, just so you know what to expect. The thing that I love about my Be the Moment process is, well, it's very personal to me. I'm very passionate about it because it's really the process that I went through that transformed my life, and I still do it. I've been doing it for 5 years, and I'm super passionate about it. And the thing that I like is that you don't have to do anything; you just have to be. So all you're gonna do is get the process, sign up for it, and then it's me leading you through a guided mindfulness practice. It's about 30 minutes, and we go through all the layers. And if there's any particular layers that you like, and then you have access to this for always. And you can even download the audio if you want to have, like, I know a few of my friends have done this. So you can watch the video where I lead you through it, but then you can also download the audio and then you have it with you all the time. So you can use it as a guided meditation practice. So I just want to let you all know that's what it is. So you don't have to do anything. You just let me lead you, and then you just enjoy present moment.
um, what I want to kind of like ask you really is this: that firstly, thank you very much for the for your birthday cake, um,
You're welcome.
and and all the layers that you've been telling us about. Um, about being eternal, can you tell us more about that being eternal? Because as a Christian, I am. About being eternal for me, it's like eternal life. It's kind of like living forever when we leave another planet. But
Mm.
in your world, what does be eternal mean to you?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I do have a history and a tradition of Christianity. So I do believe that we have souls that are eternal. And I do believe that there's a God that is eternal, that exists out of this time and space. So there's definitely that aspect to it. Um, the piece that I really wanted to focus on with the Be the Moment process and why I put it in there was because I believe that we can access and transcend this reality that we have that is based on what we see and time, linear time, and that kind of thing, that we can actually transcend that and move into this more mystical, magical, spiritual space. And for me, a good word for that would be transcending almost like our physical body and our humanity. And like I said, sharing my story of how I accidentally started to experience this feeling of timelessness, I really believe that there's power in the present moment, um, that we can almost, like, the only word I can think of is transcend this human experience. Not that I don't want to, I want to live this human experience. I want to be human. I want to enjoy all the things that life has to offer, but I want to enjoy it to the fullest for as long as I can. And so if I can extend these magical moments, those little moments you have of like joy, um like when you're almost like euphoric, like something happens. I can't even think of what a thing is right now. Like for example, oh, I was talking to a friend, and we were talking about like just being in a space of joy, and she was like, oh, the one thing I thought of was when my first child was born. So like that space of how you feel when like literally right after your child is born, that feeling of euphoria. And and maybe on your wedding day, or like Steve, you've talked about like when you met your wife, when you just knew that you loved her, and these like moments. I really believe that we can kind of like harness those, and there's power in that, and if we're fully in present moment, we can actually like really milk that and really like be in that space more of the time. So it's not just fleeting moments, but we're in that, like that feeling of like the feeling of being on vacation, well, what if we could feel like we were on vacation all the time and not just when we're on vacation?
I'd love to be on vacation all the time.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great?
That would be good. But where you are, where you live, I think that's a vocation for life, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean that's one of the really interesting things, and that's a whole other story that I'd love to share at some point, but that's one of the really interesting things that came out of this practice of mine. And then my husband too has really been practicing present moment awareness for the past few years, and out of that came these inspirations that I was shared with you earlier, the space of allowing these inspirations, and it led us to this place where we're now like living like a permanent vacation. I mean, we're still working, we still, have our lives, we still have our jobs, we still have, all that kind of thing. But we somehow were able to create this space of really being in the moment and being on vacation more of the time. And that's really the thing that why I'm so passionate, is because I not only did my body heal and my mind healed and my emotions and all of that, but then I started to see different things in my life changing, as far as what does my everyday life look like now. And uh, and and so it's super powerful, and all it truly is taking a moment to just sit and breathe, quiet your mind, and see what happens. That's where this all came from.
Right, let's go to some of the questions that we got here for you,
Great.
because we've got quite a few coming in. That's the first one. Hi, I am the brilliant. I found the last few weeks really, really good, interesting. Is this the last time you will be on here? No, definitely not. She will. She's with us. She's with us for the long run.
Yep.
Okay, so you're not worried about it, guys. We don't worry. We're not losing her. If we did, we'd go over and get her. Don't you worry.
Yeah. He knows where I live now. So
Yeah, I know where you live now. Yeah. Yeah, don't worry. No, we don't do things together. We don't go with stalking anyway. I am the brilliant. The last few weeks has been brilliant. Been following this really good and sharing it with my friends. Being in the present moment. Well, I love it. I think Steve's learned a lot because every time he goes on his Facebook, he always says he's in the moment. Um, he's. I think he's improving. Well done, Steve. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes,
awesome.
guys. Thank you. My wife's laughing over there because she knows that every time I kind of like do kind of be quiet and everything, she keeps saying to me, "Are you in the moment?" And so anyway, so there you go. Don't laugh.
That's cute.
Great. What else we got? I am love it. Thank you very much. I might take your offer up about that is quite cheap for £6. That's not bad. Really good. I might take your offer up, Emily. Oh,
Great.
brilliant. Been following you for the last few weeks. What else is it? I love where you live. It's brilliant. I think Steve should come over there and bring a coach load of us over. No, I will not bring you a coach load over. No.
It's
I,
pretty
Steve.
small.
Steve. Congratulations on your show. I hear that you're doing quite well with ratings and everything. Brilliant. Thank you so much for a great show and great guest. I hear that you got some. Yeah. Yes, we have, guys. We got really good. We're not around on the 27th because I'm away on holiday. I'll need a break. Where is it? Hi, Steve. Thank you very much for everything that you're doing to other people. Is there a Just Giving page? It is. We have a good Just Giving page. Yes, we do. Hi, Steve. Oh, love Emily. Is she? Is this her last one? No, guys. She's with us
No,
for the long run.
no, I've just finished up my Be the Moment process, but we have plenty more to talk about.
We definitely do. We definitely do. Yes, we definitely do. I'm going to ask her what she does when she's home all day. So I'm going to ask her one of them what her husband's at work. What do you do all day when your husband's at work?
Well, so we run about 5 businesses. So I'm busy with that a lot. And
Gosh.
then yeah, and then I
So
and then
what's your
I
5 businesses? What's your 5 businesses?
let's see.
I'm
We have
intrigued now.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
intrigued.
Well, we have a construction company and we do rentals, house rentals,
Right,
and we do vacation rentals.
right.
And then I
Oh, we just got cut off there, guys. I don't know why, but we got cut off. She'll be back in a minute, hopefully. Huh? Hmm. We'll be back in a minute. There you go.
yeah, and then I sell have you heard of Mary Kay Cosmetics?
All right,
Yeah.
cosmetics.
Yeah, so I sell those, and then I have my Belief Empowers, which is where my course comes from and where my book is, and
Ah,
all the mindfulness stuff that I do.
so you sell cosmetics too?
Yeah, just for
That's
fun.
interesting. Oh, good. So you sell lipstick and
Well, it's mostly skincare. I've been using it since for like 30 years, and I just kind of started selling it just because I liked it
answer
so
me a
much.
question. Answer me a question. Someone I can't remember who it was. One of my guests last week said, "Did you know, Steve, you can use mud for your skincare?" Is that
Hmm.
right?
Well, I mean, I know you can. It depends on what kind of mud. You don't want to just go out like outside in a mud puddle.
Mm-hmm.
um, but there are certain kinds of mud that, yeah, when you put them on your face like a mask, it actually absorbs toxins out of your
Mm-hmm.
skin and impurities and things. So there are special masks, mud masks you can use.
Wonder if I put some on me, it'd make improvement. Wonder if it.
It would help. It all is good stuff.
It would help.
Yeah, just cover your
Ouch!
face with
That's
mud.
cheeky. Right, guys. She won't be back next week. She's
It would
been.
help everyone. You guys, you and Michelle should have like a little mud masking like spa party.
So me and Michelle should have some mud mask on, shall we?
Yeah, and then take a picture and put it on Facebook.
Put it on Facebook, okay?
Yeah.
She don't. Do you know what? When we got married, she couldn't have no makeup on at all.
I'm allergic to it all.
She's allergic to makeup.
Oh yeah.
She don't need makeup. She's beautiful already.
No, I mean
Uh,
I really like the skincare more than the makeup, anyways. But I do know that there's certain ingredients that people can be allergic to.
yeah, yeah. Because
Yeah.
I don't know. Because I had a partner once. She used to take about an hour to kind of like put makeup on. You know what I mean? If we went
Yeah.
out, we could. I can't understand it
I
with
used
women
to
when
do
they do
that,
that.
but I don't I'm too busy doing other things now.
What do they do that for? Why do they take an hour for?
I mean there's so many reasons. I mean a lot of it is just that they want to look their best, and a lot of people, a lot of women have fun doing it. Um and then I talked to someone that's actually part of her self-care ritual, is that she does her lipstick, she does her eyes, she plays around with makeup, and that's just how she enjoys some self-care. So I
Yeah.
mean there's so many reasons.
Are you a person who does makeup?
I used to be, and like if we're gonna go out, like the other night we went out for our anniversary, so like I put on some eyeshadow, I put on some lipstick and some mascara, but normally I guess I don't really anymore.
I don't think
So
anybody any Well, I don't think any woman needs some makeup. I think everybody's beautiful. Every woman who God's created on this earth don't need any makeup at all. I don't think so.
Yeah,
But
I
that's
mean, I
me.
would agree with that. I would agree. I really would, because I really feel like just everyone is beautiful in their own way. I also don't think there's anything wrong with wearing makeup, because I know that, well, there's women and men and everybody in between that likes makeup. So, and because it's fun, you know, it can be really fun. But I just found that I wanted to spend my time doing other things. So,
All right. Sorry about the conversation about makeup. It's just that I was waiting for. It was a reason why, because I was waiting for some other questions coming through. Um, Bethany wants to know, when you're saying about eternal, what do you mean by that? I didn't catch the end.
well, for me, in the Be the Moment process, it's layer number 7. And why I said be eternal in this specific case, because there's so many other ways that we can talk about eternity and being eternal. But what I meant, and what I mean calling this layer 7 be eternal, is that what I found is that when we're really truly in the present moment, we get caught up in the moment and we can lose track of time. So if you think about a time in your life where that happened to you, or a particular activity you do where you get caught up in it and you lose track of time, there's this other kind of space to exist in. And it's like this kind of fun, cool space, that you really can't, it's very elusive and you can't really put your finger on it. But what I found is the more I practice present moment, the more I found myself losing track of time and sort of getting caught up into this space. And so I just thought it would be fun to say that it was eternal, like being eternal, being in this timeless space. So I don't know if that helps or not, but
Yes,
that's
it
why I
does.
said
Thank
that.
you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Um, Jennifer wants to know, where's it to? Do you and your husband, do you ever, sorry, start again. Do you and your husband ever meditate together?
Ooh, good question. We actually don't. No, because he does a lot of his meditating, or most of it, when he's a triathlete. So when he's training, when he's running, when he's riding his bike, because he does these long distance runs and these long distance bike rides, and he swims for long distances. So in that space is his meditation practice. That's how he meditates. And then I do it when I do a lot of like sitting outside. And so we have our different ways that we connect to present moment. So we haven't really done it together. No.
Right, okay. Do you ever do, Ben says, do you do any mediation classes yourself?
Oh, like meditation?
Yeah,
Like lead them?
yeah.
I haven't done that for a long time. And the closest thing I have to that right now really is my Be the Moment process, where I lead you through the guided meditation. And actually, if you go to my website, there's also a free meditation that you can, a recorded meditation that you can do. And then
Yeah.
in the future, we can talk about what I call my foundation experience, which is my book and meditations that go together. But I don't currently have like a live meditation class or anything that I'm doing right now.
Okay, and the last couple of questions is this: that um, when you were when you were going through your depression, were your children with you then, or were you young?
Oh yeah. So my kids are grown up and gone now. And at the time when I was going through my breakdown, my oldest was graduated from college and living elsewhere, and then my youngest was in college. So they weren't home at the time. So that would have been, you know, definitely a different situation if I had kids at home during that.
Right. Okay. And the other one is, if I want to contact you, how would I do that? But we will, as you know, guys, we always put it on our website and on Facebook anyway. So go to Crossroads Podcast; it's always on there, and it'll be on there again later on when I finish tonight. What else is it? Gosh, so many questions. What I will do, guys, I will send these questions to Emily, if you don't mind, by your email. Is that all right?
Sure.
Yeah, and you can, kind of like go for it. Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And
Thanks.
for tonight, that has been brilliant. If you wait there for a second, I just want to chat. In the meantime, guys, don't forget, I'm going to be back in around about 15 minutes. And
And
that's
remember my special. So if you go to my website and go to the Be the Moment process and type in special moment, you'll get the discount.
And our website is on screen at the moment.
It's right there.
Yeah. It's going long there. Yes, okay. All right then, guys. See you later. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.